For me, the way that I see it is I have to be making these calls because these homeowners need my help. It's better for me to reach out because if I don't do it, somebody else is going to reach out and somebody else is going to get paid. Why not be
Right.
me?
Hello, agentpreneurs, and welcome back to the Daily List Report. As you saw, we've got back on the show Loida Velasquez from Team BC. She is an amazing agent, an amazing person. She's been a regular on this show, and we're super grateful for her time. Today, we are talking about low inventory. We are all struggling with this. There are not enough homes on the market, and we've got too many buyers. Before we get to that, a couple things. One is her Instagram, Loida Velas. Link is below. Click on that. Give her a follow. She's got a lot of great content. She's got a bunch of cool stuff. She's got boot camp. She's got training. She's got a lot of cool stuff. So definitely go there. Also, YouTube. She is an awesome YouTuber. Most importantly, lots and lots of great content there. So definitely subscribe to her channel. Of course, and I'm so bad at this, while you're here, please consider subscribing to this channel. Click that little bell so you're notified of all future episodes. And we've recently set up an Instagram account. That name is right there. It's my name, @Randy Shiozaki. And we're posting some tips and some clips from this show. We don't always have 30 minutes, right, to watch a show. And so that's a way to keep up as you go about your daily business. So without further ado, let's bring Loida back on the show. Loida, welcome.
Thank you, Randy. Always great talking to you and giving back to all the agents some knowledge.
So today we're
Yes.
going to talk about how to handle low inventory market, right? How do you, Loida, for yourself or for the agents, that you work with, how do you motivate them to do these things? Oftentimes we know what we should do. We don't do it. It's like going to the gym. We know we're going to be healthier and stronger. We just can't quite get ourselves to do it. How do you handle that?
I think a lot has to do with your mindset. You see yourself door knocking, you see yourself making these phone calls, and everything, especially the way that I see things, even when I'm making calls, I try to have a positive outlook and perspective on everything. Because if you focus on, well, what objections are people going to tell me? Or what's going to happen if I don't know what to answer, then that's really what's going to throw you off.
No, that makes perfect sense. Sometimes for me, I've read a lot about this. It's just about reframing it, right? It's the difference
Yeah.
between saying, for example, I have to go to work versus I get to go to work, right? Is that how it
Yeah.
is for you?
Yeah, exactly. For me, the way that I see it is I have to be making these calls because these homeowners need my help. Someone, if it was an expired, didn't deliver the job. So it's my job to now reach out and make sure that they have a better experience and they can actually sell their home so they can move on to the plans that they originally had. So it's better for me to reach out because if I don't do it, somebody else is going to reach out and somebody else is going to get paid. Why not be
Right.
me?
It's so difficult, especially for a new agent who is trying to get their first or their second or their third deal. It is the hardest thing in the world, isn't it, to say no to something?
Yeah.
It's a gut check, right? Where you're like, you know what, this deal isn't for me, and I'm going to put my faith in the process. How do you handle that conversation with your agents?
I tell them, look, at the end of the day, our job is to help someone, whether it's buying or selling a home. And if we see that that it's not possible, there's no point in us trying to put a home on the market when we know it's going to be extra, it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So yes, it's scary, and at the same time, we want that deal, but it's not going to take us anywhere. So it's better to turn away business when we know we can't deliver a job. Because let's say we do take an overpriced listing, what's going to happen is that the home is going to sit, it's not going to sell. Then later on, it's going to come off the market. The homeowner is going to get a ton of calls from realtors. Then they're going to be upset looking at you thinking, oh, well, you didn't do your job. And then it just makes everyone look bad. So it's better to do your homework up front and just know that you're doing the right thing by telling someone that you can help them and moving on to the next person.
So we're going to talk about this low inventory that we have, and this low inventory is going to persist. The builders are building furiously right now. People are migrating and moving, but it is a very real problem. Let's talk about some of sort of your best advice for how to handle this situation. And I will say real quick for all of you watching right now, Loida made a great video just a few weeks on this topic. So that link is below. So please click that. Please watch that video. She's going to go into some detail on some of these tips.
Yeah. So yeah, just like you mentioned, it's so difficult right now for buyers. I'm working with a handful of them that every time that we go see a property, it's gotten to the point that we go and they already know, look, I don't care if it's a really nice house or if it needs a lot of work. I'm going to submit an offer and we'll see what happens. Just because they keep on getting overbid, there's 20,
Wow.
30 offers. So now it's like you have to think outside the box. If you're an agent, what other ways can we try and find off market properties that can be a potential fit for our clients? So a lot of what I have been doing recently has been circle prospecting and cold calling different neighborhoods where my buyers are interested in. That way I can see if there are any homeowners that would potentially be interested in selling, and I can possibly put together a deal off market that way.
Loida, for those who aren't familiar with that term, where did that term come from? Circle prospecting. What is that?
Circle prospecting, pretty much you pick a neighborhood, a zip code, a specific area, and you're just prospecting the homeowners. It's a cold call. It's not a homeowner that came off the market or expired or for sale by owner. It's just you reaching out to everyone in that specific neighborhood or track and just introducing yourself as a real estate agent. So what I say is, hey, my name is Loida, a local real estate agent. Very quickly reaching out because I'm working with a family that's looking to move to your neighborhood. Wanted to see if you possibly might have any thoughts of moving out or if you know of anyone in your immediate neighborhood. Most of the time, people, they have conversations with me. They
Mm.
rarely hang up, or if not, they'll say, you know what, I don't know anyone. I'm not interested in selling, but thanks for calling. And that's usually how the conversations are. It's much easier than cold calling for sale by owners or expireds where you're going to get a lot more objections up front.
Right. Absolutely. I got to think this came from like literally taking a physical map and then circling
Yeah.
an area, right? Is that where the
Yeah.
name came from?
Yeah,
Probably.
probably.
What I think is interesting here is, a lot of people watching right now have buyers like you who are struggling because they cannot get their offer accepted. It's so competitive. How have people responded to door knocking? I think culturally it's shifted a little bit, but also during these times, is it actually a great time to do it?
Yeah, it actually has been great. Our team is out there pretty much every other day door knocking, and they have a lot of positive experiences. A lot of the homeowners are there. They know kind of what's going on with the market. They know the homes that are selling in the area and how crazy fast homes are selling. My team, when they go out door knocking, they make a lot more contacts at the door than if they were at the doors. So just for an example, last week, one of our team members, she door knocked for, I think, for 4 hours and made almost 50 contacts. So she had almost 50 conversations with
Wow.
homeowners.
I'll tell you, Laura, when I talk to you, when I talk to other top agents, door knocking is almost always a part of the process. Like it is still such a great way to convert or at least to
Mhm.
get the conversation. And it is probably for most agents the most terrifying thing in the whole world.
Yeah.
How do you coach your agents to get over that fear of door knocking?
What I tell them is that, look, the worst thing that can happen is that they say, no, they're not interested. And chances are you're never going to see them ever again in your life. But the best case scenario is that they might tell you, yeah, I've been thinking about buying or selling, or they refer you someone. And now that can be a potential $10,000 paycheck or even more. So I just focus on that instead of, oh, well, what if they tell me something that I don't know what to answer? Or what if they ask me about interest rates or questions that I have no idea how to even answer or address? It's more focusing on the other part.
Right now the market's hot, right? People are just buying anything that's available. Has your strategy shifted at all with regard to for sale by owners? Is this a part of your plan? Is this something that you actively do?
Yes, I still call the for sale by owners. Now, what I'm seeing is that a lot of these for sale by owners, they are getting offers, and it's naturally that they're going to get offers just because there's very low inventory and there's buyers, their agents that are submitting these offers. Just specifically, I remember recently I was talking to a for sale by owner. I could tell that she underpriced the property. Even
Mm-hmm.
when I was having a conversation, I was asking her a lot of questions, and she said, you know what, I'm not going to hire an agent. I already have 3 offers. Long story short, she did end up selling. Owners are going to sell, but are they going to sell for the most money in this market right now? chances are that they're probably not. So that's kind of a conversation that I have with the for sale by owners when I'm talking to them. It's like, okay, are you more concerned about selling the home on your own, or do you want to make sure that you walk away with the most money right now?
I would imagine that the majority of people who put up a for sale by owner, they're doing it because they want to make more money, right? Very few
Mhm.
people are like, I just want to sell it myself because that sounds fun, right? They're doing it
Yeah.
because they're trying to save the commission. And you're absolutely right. I mean, the point of using an agent is not just for protection, right? Honestly, like there's a fiduciary duty and there's some legal protections there, but also the bigger the market you open this up to, especially in this market, the
Mhm.
more competitive it is, likely the better price you're going to get.
Yeah, exactly. And then I also ask them, how are you negotiating the offers that you're getting? You said that you want to get the most money, so how are you making sure that you get a good offer? And a lot of them do not know how to negotiate. I've been told by some for sale by owners, oh, well, I'm just going to wait until I get an offer with the number that I want. Obviously, as a real estate agent, that's not how we negotiate. We
Right.
see, okay, let's get them all together, multiple counter, and then go from there. Obviously, I don't share all of these details to the for sale by owner upfront in our phone call because I want to set that appointment so that in person I can go over exactly what we do differently. And then it would make sense for them to actually hire a professional to assist them in the sale of the home.
It feels like, Loida, that in a time like this where it's so competitive, for buyers and there's not enough sellers, that creativity has got to be like the name of the game. Just trying to find
Yeah.
creative ways. How do you stay creative? How do you think about the role of creativity in this process?
Yeah, especially with the low inventory, along with the circle prospecting, the for sale by owners, we're now also prospecting the absentee owners. A lot of the homeowners that have rental properties, we're also looking into people that have recently gotten notice of defaults, going after properties that have been vacant. I mean, we're trying to see how we can create inventory for our buyers because if we're just relying on the MLS, and if your buyer, specifically, if they are a first time buyer that doesn't have an additional 20 or 30,000 to put up extra just like that, removing the appraisal contingency, then it's going to be very difficult for them to get into a property.
One of the things that I've been talking with consistently with George Wrightu, he's a senior economist at Realtor.com, he's on the show quite a bit, is this migration continues to happen. In other words, people leaving tier one cities, going into other markets, and we're seeing booms happen all over the country. So I own a couple income rental properties, right? And it's fine. I have renters and they're doing their thing and it is what it is, right? But if an agent came to me and said, you know what, you've got this rental property here, market's really good right now, it's really high, let's sell that property, but with an end in mind. There's three markets over here in Idaho, South Dakota, wherever, right? And you could take that and you could buy three properties or a multifamily or whatever, and you can look at how they cash flow. And that whole package, that whole solution seems like it'd be really compelling for, as you're talking about, investment properties, non-owner occupied properties.
Yeah, exactly. And when we are making the phone calls or sending out letters to these absentee owners, that's kind of what we present. We not only share with you exactly how much you can get for your property, but we also present to you what other properties make more sense that can put more money in your pocket monthly for rental income. And for a lot of these investors and property owners, it's all about the numbers. If the numbers make sense, then yeah, they're more likely to want to move forward or at least keep on exploring the options.
Absolutely. And just making it easy, right? I think a lot of people
Mhm.
who own investment properties who are not professionals, like they don't do this for their day job,
Yeah.
I don't like if I sold one of them, I don't know where to go. Like I see headlines and I'm like, but then some of these markets have already gone crazy, right? So do I go to
Yeah.
Nashville? That's expensive now. Austin, too late, right? Boise, okay, maybe I missed that bus, right? But there are other markets that are up and coming. The average investor, I think, just doesn't know what options they have.
And at that point, when we have these conversations with these owners that have some type of interest, we do dig a little bit deeper. We find out what the numbers look like currently for the rent roll on the properties that they have. That way, we can kind of see what areas or if it's units or what would make the most sense for them to do a 1031 into.
Absolutely. I continue to think, Loida, that over this past, I guess, year, but really probably over the last 7 or 8 months, that one of the biggest opportunities to be creative for an agent is to help people understand where they could go, what options they have, right? Here are some really up and coming markets, right? Here are
Mhm.
places that are probably going to appreciate really nicely in terms of property values, places that you can get a much nicer or better home than you have today.
Yeah.
And maybe counter to what people think, also have all of the great amenities, right? They have the mountains nearby, or they have your Starbucks, whatever the things are that you care about. It's like, it's hard to imagine sometimes living somewhere else, but if you could paint that picture, I feel like that's a great opportunity to unlock seller demand.
So that's where that creativity comes in that you're talking about. We have to be able to paint these pictures so that people can actually see themselves living somewhere else and still have everything accessible to them. But if you are not able to kind of convey that message or paint that picture, then they're not going to understand, or they're not going to see the importance of the possibilities that they can actually get out there.
And I think these are those times, right, Loida, where we have to sort of take a step back, look at what's happening in the market, and try new and different and creative strategies, right? I think that's what this is about, isn't it? It's about iterating and trying and adapting and changing and improving, or at some point abandoning, right? That strategy is no
Yeah.
longer viable or good. But I think it is that relentless pursuit that is what ultimately makes a great agent. Loida, we covered, I think, a lot of really great tips here, right, for this low inventory market. I think the one I'm most excited about is so hopefully inspiring our agents to be creative about what their
Mhm.
approach is, but also, as you talked about, Loida, just reframing your mindset about these things. Because I think that's the thing that I'm sure you'd agree that we see time and time again that agents fall down on is they don't do the activities, even though they know they should do the activities.
Or they spend hours watching trainings and seeing a whole bunch of YouTube videos, getting pumped, but then they never actually go out and implement everything they have learned, whether it's at the doors or on the phones. So yeah, it's all about actually taking action, knowing that you're not going to be perfect the first time, and it's all a learning experience, but you just have to start doing it, and over time you're going to get a lot more comfortable.
These are the same lessons, Loida, that we've been talking about for months with social media, right? We're like, go
Yeah.
back and look at our first videos, and mine were muted half the time. And, like no one's proud of those things, but we continue,
Hmm.
we improve, we grow our audience, our reputation, right? These things unfold
Yes.
over time, they don't happen overnight. Loida, is there anything else you want to cover today? Anything else you want to share with our agentpreneurs about this crazy low inventory market?
I would just say also start implementing social media and videos, educational videos, kind of giving market updates and posting them on YouTube, on Facebook, or on the and every social media platform that these agents have. That way you can be seen as an expert with whoever is looking at you. So giving market updates, inventory, what's going on. If you have a certain client that's looking in a particular area, you can also make videos. So just incorporate videos.
I couldn't agree more. This is what we've been doing a lot of. Loida does a ton of this. Again, go check out her channel. The link is below. There's so much great content there. I mean, I'm looking at the list. She gets on the phone, she makes calls, right, that you can watch, talks about YouTube channels. There's a bunch of great stuff there. So, Loida, as always, thank you so much for taking time to be here. I can't tell you how much we appreciate you.
Thank you, Randy. Always a pleasure talking to you.
So there you have it, everybody. Loida Velasquez back on the show today. I love chatting with her because she practices what she preaches, and this is absolutely the truth. I mean, I was talking to her about YouTube, and she still spends time editing her videos. She's gotten quite proficient at it. She enjoys it. She's making the phone calls. She's knocking on the doors. Like, she practices what she preaches, and I love that, right? It's not just about giving out playbooks and talking about best practices. She actually lives this, which means that she has an opportunity to hone these skills and to get better at them, and then to share them with all of us, which we are very fortunate to be able to listen to, quite frankly. That's it for today. Definitely check out her channels, YouTube, Instagram. There's a lot of great content there, so please give her a follow and a subscribe there. And until tomorrow, be safe, be healthy, be happy. Get after it. Massive action. Go do the things. If you're inspired right now, if she inspired you, go do it. Go knock on some doors, right? It's not that hard. You don't need anything. You don't need to watch 10 hours of videos. Just go knock on those doors. You can print out some recent sales from your MLS. It doesn't even matter. Print it out. Walk up there, knock, put a smile on your face. Come with an attitude of service first, and you're gonna have some success. All right, thanks everybody. Bye.